Hey, this is Raul for Bass Musician Magazine, and today we're going to take a close look at the Phil Jones Bass Micro 7. This 50-watt little powerhouse is intended to be a practice amp. As you can see, I'm holding it. It's coming in at just a little over 15 pounds. Nice size. We'll go into some of the details in a second, but let's talk a little bit about practice amps. I've always been on the fence when it comes to practice amps because I like to practice full bore with my gear so I can hear the way it's going to sound later on. But I can see the value of having a smaller practice amp for those instances where you're in a room where you don't want to wake up all the neighbors, or you're backstage, or you're in your hotel room and you want to have a good sound, you want to see how your bass is sounding, your strings are sounding, without having the whole gear set up. So this is a great solution, compact, powerful, giving you quality sound so that you can practice. And we'll go over all the features because there's a lot of things that are built in here that might make this a good choice for you. Let's take a closer look. Starting from the outside, it's less than a foot in any direction, so just under 12 inches wide and under 10 inches high or deep. So nice and portable, can fit in small places. The front grate is kick-proof steel, and that is protecting your 7-inch driver and that 3-inch tweeter that you can see there. On the back side, you can see a bass port that is designed to give you focused and articulate low notes so that B and E gives you better response there. Got convenient handles and U brackets to help you manage this. It's pretty easy to handle and maneuver around. What's inside, you've got a 50-watt bass combo. It has your standard 1/4-inch input. Next to that, there's a mini toggle that controls the clip. It can either mute the sound entirely. On the low setting, it is for active instruments. On the high setting, for passive. Right next to that, we've got level, bass, mid, and treble. And you can use those to modify the sound, kind of depending on your particular instrument. Of course, there's a general volume control right next to that. Then we've got auxiliary input where you can run in a CD player or MP3, something that if you're practicing, that makes a convenient way to do that. If you just want to hear it yourself, you've got a headphone stereo jack out, and you've got an auxiliary line out if you want to run like a preamp or anything like that. You've got a power on and off. One more thing to keep in mind is that this is designed to work with AC voltage from 100 to 260 volts without needing a selector. If you have the right plug, this should work just fine. Now, frequency response comes in at 36 hertz to 22 kilohertz with a signal to noise ratio better than 84 decibels, and that is if you center the EQ and put your volume on full. I want to give you a little bit of the details as we do this trial so that when you see these things, we get a lot of inquiries on the video, like what bass did you use or what cable were you using? So I want to get that out ahead. I'm going to start out, I'm going to play with Schecter Stiletto 5. This goes both active and passive, so it's going to be great. It'll show us one of the features that we can see here. I've got my comfortable strap from ErgoStrap, our good friends in Chile. I have a cable, Asterope instrument cable. This one is made for basses specially, so all of these things will stay fixed and any changes we make will be on the amp while we're using it. Okay, let's turn this on and see how things are sounding. As you can tell, I've got everything pretty much straight up. And instrument input, we've got our Asterope cable going in. I've got it set right now to an active with the clip being on low. If I go passive, I can turn that down. And you can hear that there. I'm going to bring the volume up just a little bit. Okay, that's pretty good. And we've got our 3-band EQ, the level. If we take it all the way down, that's real low. It's kind of in that gain. Bring it up a little. Got that. And of course, as we play with bass, mid, and treble, You want to find a balance that works really well for you. If we kind of take them down a little, or bring them up, a little distortion maybe when I'm pushing high, but again, this is a really hot bass. With 18 volts going in, I'm not surprised it tends to do that. But I think the way I always go is straight up. That's usually my indicator. And that sounds really nice for an amp of this size. A lot of times I get a lot more distortion when I use this particular bass on a smaller amp like this. Alright folks, there you have it. The Phil Jones Bass Micro 7 practice amp might work for smaller venues. The sound is really nice on this, so I think it was very true in comparison to what I get from a full-size amp. I understand the limitations of it being for practice, but it's also got a lot to offer that might help this be a good amplifier for you. If you want more information, go to www.pjbworld.com and you can look up more details. And of course, the best way to see if anything is right for you is try it for yourself. So that's what I recommend you do. This has been Raul for Bass Musician Magazine, bringing you Phil Jones Bass Micro 7.